Welcome back to my series where I write Cobra Kai Season 6, and in today's video I'm going to write Episode 9 of Season 6, so if you haven't watched the previous parts, go watch them right here. The episode starts off with the commentator welcoming the senseis from each dojo onto the stage. The rules for the Sensei Tournament are the same as the Old Valley. If you get hit, that's a point, and the first to 3 points wins. The first round has 8 qualifying matches in the first match, Daniel fights a random sensei and beats it 3-1. In the second match, a random sensei fights a member of the Fist and loses 3-2. In the third match, another member of the Fist fights against a random sensei and wins the match 3-2. And in the fourth match, Kreese fights Hyung Woo. The match starts and Hyung tries to overwhelm Kreese with his speed, but Kreese knows how he fights and blocks his flying punch and then punches him for scoring the first point. In the second round, Hyun tricks him into thinking he's going to go in for the overhead kick and leg sweeps him, equalizing the score. Kreese stays focused and scores the final 2 points, winning 3-1. In the fifth round, Johnny fights Terry. Daniel tells Johnny that Silver will try playing dirty to win, so he has to stay focused and avoid his tricks. The match starts and Terry attacks Johnny with a combination of kicks, but Johnny blocks them and punches him, scoring the first point. Terry realizes that Johnny's defense has gotten a lot better, so he's going to need to surprise him. Terry attacks Johnny to get him triggered and lets Johnny start attacking him so he can leg sweep him while Johnny tries punching him, which makes the score 1-1. In the next round, Terry pressures Johnny into playing defense and gets him off balance with a kick, which lets him score the second point. Daniel tells Johnny that he needs to stay focused and use Terry's moves against him, so in the next round, Johnny tries doing the same thing Daniel did in Season 5 against Terry, but he sees this coming and lets Johnny think it's working, then surprises him with the leg sweep and wins the match 3-1. The few matches for the qualifying rounds are very quick. In the sixth round, 2 random senseis fight, and in the seventh round, a random sensei fights a member of the Fist and loses 3-0. In the eighth match, Chosen also fights a member of the Fist and wins 3-0. This leads us into the quarterfinals, with the first match being Daniel versus another member from the Fist, which he wins 3-0. In the second quarterfinal round, the final member from the Fist fights Kreese and loses 3-0. In the third round, Terry fights a random sensei and wins 3-0 as well. In the final quarterfinal match, Chosen fights the final member from the Fist and wins 3-0. The quarterfinals were quick, but the semifinals are a lot more interesting, with the first match being Daniel versus Kreese, with Johnny and Julie being his coach. The fight starts and Kreese strikes first with a punch that Daniel dodges and kicks him, scoring the point. Kim calls Kreese over and tells him to sweep the leg. Kreese agrees and steps back onto the mat. Kreese then strikes first again, but this time he makes it look like he's going to do a hook kick, which makes Daniel duck, but he then kicks Daniel's leg with so much power that it knocks him out and Kreese scores the point. Daniel limps over to Julie and Johnny to ask them for advice. Julie tells him that he needs to stay focused and watch out for his tricks, and Johnny tells him to do the same thing he did in the 1984 Old Valley. Daniel nods and gets back onto the mat. Kreese tries throwing Daniel off balance, but Daniel is ready and crane kicks him before he can hit him and scores the point. Kreese is furious that he fell for it and tries jumping at Daniel with a punch, but he counters it with a kick, winning the match. For the final semi-final match, Chosen fights Terry. Terry tells him that he plans to repeat their last fight the exact same way it happened. The fight then starts and they fight evenly, trying to find an opening but can't seem to find it. Terry tries playing dirty but realizes that Chosen knows how to counter it, so he continues attacking him with kicks. Chosen counters them and flips him over and almost scores the point, but the referee calls off the fight and yells time. The commentator then comes onto the stage and announces that they have passed the 3-minute time limit and will go into sudden death overtime.
For the first time since 1985, my sudden death overtime! Let's go!
The fight starts and Chosen strikes first, but Terry is ready and uses the silver bullet and knocks him out, winning the match, which makes the final Daniel versus Terry Silver. And to make the fight even more interesting, the first to 2 points wins. Before the match starts, Daniel goes over to Johnny and Julie for advice. Johnny tells him that he has beaten him before and knows how to defeat him, so he should just stay focused and find the points. The fight starts and Daniel circles Terry, waiting for an opening to come, but Terry is smart and doesn't attack him and keeps circling him for a bit longer. Terry then launches a fast kick, which throws Daniel off balance, and he leg sweeps him to score the first point. In the second round, Daniel is ready and blocks Terry's attacks and uses the silver bullet, scoring the point and almost knocks him out completely, but Terry manages to recover. Final round, Terry tries punching Daniel, but he blocks it and kicks him down, winning the male Sensei Tournament. Terry confronts Daniel and tells him that the only reason he won was because he caught him off guard, but something like that won't happen again. For the female Sensei Tournament, Julie fights a bunch of random senseis and barely makes it to the finals after winning every single match by only a 1-point lead. Kim also makes it to the finals, but she wins every single fight up until the final 3-0. And just like the finals for the males tournament, the first to 2 points wins. Before the match starts, Daniel tells Julie to watch out for Kim's tricks since they don't know anything about her, but knowing that she trained with Kreese Silver and is the granddaughter of Kim Sun-young, she needs to watch out. Kreese tells Kim that this is their chance to get in the lead ahead of Miyagi Fang, so she better win. The fight starts and Kim sprints at Julie and attacks her with a flying kick that Julie blocks but falls from the impact. Kim then runs over while she's down and punches her, scoring the first point. Julie gets up in pain and calls time to go over for advice. Daniel tells her that she needs to watch out for her speed and kicks and stay focused. Kreese tells Kim that was perfect and she needs to now throw her off guard with a combination of kicks. The fight starts and Kim charges Julie with tons of kicks and sweeps into a leg sweep, but Julie blocks them and steps out of the way. Julie then fights back with a powerful front kick that Kim blocks, but it pushes her backward. Julie sees this as an opportunity and jumps at Kim with a punch, but Kim is ready for this and tornado kicks Julie, sending her flying and scoring the winning point, winning the female Sensei Tournament and putting Cobra Kai just above Miyagi Fang. For the teens tournament, the rules are the same, but every fight is the first to 2 points. The final qualifying rounds for the boys and girls division each have 8 matches, and the first match for the boys division is Miguel versus a Cobra Kai student, which he wins 2-0. The second match is a silver karate student versus Ben, which he wins 2-1. The third match is Anthony versus Chris. Anthony goes on the offensive and overwhelms Chris, scoring the first point. In the second round, Chris tries a mix of offense and defense, but Anthony blocks his attacks and then leg sweeps him, scoring the winning point. In the fourth match, Sean fights Tom. Tom starts off the match with a flying kick right at Sean, which he blocks and throws him off. Sean tries finishing him off with a punch, but Tom rolls back. Sean quickly responds to that with a kick just as Tom gets up and scores the first point. In the second round, Tom performs acrobatic kicks to throw Sean off, but Sean just catches his legs right before Tom hits him and then throws him down and punches him, winning the match. The first 4 rounds for the girls division are also very quick. In the first match, Sam fights a Cobra Kai student and wins 2-0. The second match, a Miyagi Fang student fights a Cobra Kai student and loses 2-1. In the third match, Laura fights a silver karate student and wins 2-0, and in the fourth round, a Cobra Kai student fights a random student and loses 2-1. Moving back to the boys division, in the fifth match, Jin fights Kyler. Kyler is very confident and rushes Jin to finish him quickly, but Jin easily dodges this attack and kicks him, scoring the first point. Daniel calls Kyler over and tells him that he needs to fight smart and play defense for a bit. So in the second round, Jin attacks Kyler, but Kyler uses Miyagi-Do to defend himself, and it works for a bit, but Jin then breaks through his defense, flips him over, and scores the winning point. In the sixth match, Hawk fights a random student and wins 2-1, and in the seventh round, Kenny fights Dimitri. Kenny starts the fight with offense, but Dimitri blocks his attacks and punches him, scoring the first point. In the second round, Kenny is more patient and surprises Dimitri with a flying kick, which Dimitri dodges, but Kenny then shifts into a leg sweep and scores the point. In the third round, Dimitri strikes first, which throws Kenny off and he kicks him, winning the match. And in the final qualifying match for the boys, Robbie fights a random fighter and wins 2-0. The scene then shifts back to the final 4 matches for the girls' qualifying rounds. In the fifth match, Tori fights a silver karate student and wins 2-0. In the sixth match, a Miyagi Fang student fights a Cobra Kai student and loses 2-1. In the seventh match, Sharon fights a Cobra Kai student and wins 2-0. In the final match, Devin fights a random student and wins 2-1. This leads us to the quarterfinals, and in the first match for the boys division, Miguel fights Ben from silver karate. Miguel and Ben circle each other for a bit, but Ben then attacks Miguel with a roundhouse kick that Miguel dodges just in time. Miguel then quickly attacks him with a series of punches and breaks through his defense, scoring the first point. Ben is disappointed they let Miguel do that to him, so the next round he attacks Miguel, but this time he feints a punch, making Miguel think he's going to punch him and then goes in for a leg sweep. Miguel sees through this and jumps over the leg sweeps and hits Ben with a tornado kick, winning the match. In the second match, Anthony fights Sean. Before the match starts, Daniel tells Anthony to remember his training and stay focused. Sam also tells him to let Sean think he's weak so he can surprise him and score a point. Kreese tells Sean not to play any games and take him out quickly. The fight starts and Sean charges Anthony with a combination of punches. Anthony blocks the first few but is knocked back by the power of Sean's punches. Sean laughs and asks him if that's all he's got. Anthony then quickly attacks Sean with a kick that Sean just barely blocks, but it pushes him back a bit. Sean then hits Anthony with an insanely powerful hook kick that flips Anthony over. The ref calls for Anthony to get up for the next round, but Anthony tries getting up with a bloody face but falls down. The ref calls for a medic and takes Anthony off the stage. Sam, Robbie, and Hawk charge at Sean furiously, but the ref stops them. The referee announces that since Anthony can't continue, Sean is the winner of the match and moves on to the semifinals. Sean goes back to Kreese and Kim, who congratulate him on the win, but Sean tells him that he regrets what he did and didn't mean to knock him out. Kreese responds to him that Anthony was weak and they must eliminate the weak. The senseis Sam and Robbie all go visit Anthony in the nursery room. Anthony tells him that he's fine and Sean just hit him hard. Robbie tells him that he will make sure Sean and the rest of the Cobra Kai don't win. Daniel and Sam agree, and the scene then shifts back to the girls' division first quarterfinal fight where Sam fights a Cobra Kai student. Sam wins her fight 2-0, and in the second match, Laura fights a Cobra Kai student and wins 2-0. Moving back to the boys' quarterfinal, in the third match, Hawk fights Jin. Hawk attacks Jin with a combination of punches, but Jin blocks them. Hawk continues to pressure him with offense, and Jin goes on the defense and blocks his attacks, but Hawk then almost lands a kick on Jin, but he blocks it and stumbles back a bit. Hawk then leg sweeps him and runs over to score the first point. In the second round, Hawk launches himself at Jin with a punch, but Jin blocks this and pushes him back a bit. Hawk then goes on the offense, but Jin is ready for this, and when Hawk punches him, he grabs his arm and flips him over with ease, and then kicks him to equalize the match. In the third round, Hawk and Jin circle each other waiting for an opening. Hawk tries to launch a barrage of punches and kicks, but Jin blocks them and back kicks Hawk, scoring the winning point. And in the final quarterfinal round for the boys division, Robbie fights Dimitri. Robbie tests Dimitri's defense with a couple of kicks and punches, but Dimitri blocks them. Robbie then sees a chance and performs the spinning back kicks and gets the first point. In the second round, Dimitri is focused and is ready to anticipate Robbie's attacks. Robbie goes for a high kick, but Dimitri ducks and leg sweeps him, making the score 1-1. In the final round, Robbie pressures Dimitri with offense and almost hits him with a roundhouse kick, but Dimitri sidesteps it and tries countering with a punch, but Robbie dodges it in the last second and quickly counters with a tornado kick that hit Dimitri and scores him the winning point. Moving back to the girls division, in the third round, Tori fights a Cobra Kai student and wins 2-0, and in the final round, Devin fights Sharon. Sharon doesn't waste any time and charges Devin with punches and kicks, but Devin defends against this and holds her off for a bit. Sharon's offense then eventually overwhelms her and gets through her defense with a kick, scoring the first point. In the second round, Sharon launches at Devin with a punch, but Devin dodges this, which makes Sharon lose her balance when she lands. Devin then grabs her by the sleeve of her gi, holds her, and hits her with a powerful knee strike, which makes Sharon fall down in pain, making the score 1-1. Sharon goes over to Silver for advice. He tells her that Devin never makes the same mistake twice, and if she wants to win, she's going to wait for the Devin to attack her. Sharon then gets back on the mat, and the fight starts with Devin performing a flying kick at Sharon that she dodges and gets ready to counter. Devin hits her with a hook kick that makes her trip. Devin runs over to finish her, but Sharon waits for the perfect moment and backflips right before Devin hits her. In the middle of the backflip, she kicks Devin in the jaw, sending her flying up. Sharon then lands with Devin crashing down next to her. Devin tries to get up but falls back down. Sharon then walks over to her and punches her, winning the match. Moving on to the semifinals, there are new rules to make the tournament even more interesting. The commentator says that there will be no points for this round, and the way to win is by making your opponent either tap out or fight them until they pass out, with the first semifinal match being in the boys division being Miguel versus Sean. Miguel and Sean step onto the stage getting ready for the fight. Miguel wants to avenge Anthony and beat Sean to advance to the finals. The fight starts, and since there is no fear of being eliminated from being hit once, Miguel is a lot more aggressive and charges Sean with a bunch of quick jabs that Sean blocks. Miguel tries a feint attack on Sean, but Sean sees through this and elbows him, which knocks Miguel back. Sean then goes on offense and throws powerful punches and kicks that Miguel dodges but still gets hit by a few. Sean then misses one of his punches, so Miguel uses this to advantage and punches Sean, which throws him onto the mat. Miguel then gets Sean into a chokehold, but Sean is too big and strong and throws him off. Sean then quickly gets back up and gets to Miguel right when he lands on the mat, picks him up and punches him down to the mat again. Sean then elbows him WWE style, which makes Miguel pass out, making Sean the winner, and he moves on to the finals. Miyagi Fang is shocked that Sean won the fight, with Cobra Kai still leading in first place and Miyagi Fang in second place and Silver Karate in third, making it impossible for Silver Karate to win with all of their students besides Sharon eliminated. The scene then shifts to the girls division for the first semi-final fight, Sam versus Laura. Before the match starts, the senseis tell Sam to remember all of her training and to stay focused. Kim tells Laura that Sam is a great fighter, but she lacks physical strength, with something Laura is a lot better at, and she needs to use that to her advantage. Sam and Laura then step onto the stage, and the fight starts with Laura attacking Sam with a couple of punches and then does an overhead kick that Sam dodges with a duck just in time. Sam strikes back with a kick right at Laura, but she blocks this and they go back and forth with a combination of punches. Laura then breaks through Sam's defense and punches her in the rib, which throws Sam off balance, and Laura uses this to her advantage with a leg sweep, sending Sam to the ground, but she quickly rolls back up and rushes Laura with a series of kicks that Laura blocks. Sam breaks through and kicks her in the shoulder, but Laura counters with a powerful back fist that catches Sam off guard. Laura then tackles Sam to the ground and gets her in an armbar hold. Sam tries breaking free but can't seem to get out and is getting weakened from the pressure of the chokehold. Sam then decides to use her flexibility to her advantage and frees her legs out of the hold and manages to spin her legs around and get Laura in a leg chokehold. Laura, realizing that both of them are in the same position, releases Sam as they both roll back up. Sam tries kicking Laura, but she misses from being weakened from the chokehold. Laura then jumps in to punch Sam, but she dodges it in the last second and uses all of her power to punch Laura, but Laura catches her fist, twists her arm, then does a scissor leg takedown and gets Sam back into a chokehold. Sam tries getting out, but she can't, and Laura puts more and more power to make sure Sam taps out. Sam continues to struggle, but the choking eventually catches up to her and she passes out. Miyagi is devastated that they lost two of their best fighters to Cobra Kai, who secured themselves a spot in the finals. Before the second semi-final match for the boys division starts, Daniel, Johnny, and Robbie go to check how Sam and Miguel are doing. Sam and Miguel apologize for losing, but Daniel tells them it's not their fault and they did everything they could. He also tells them that it was more of a physical test and whoever was physically stronger had a much better chance of winning in tap outs. Miguel says it's good that they have Robbie and Tori left because they were the two strongest in terms of physical strength. Robbie tells them that he will make sure Cobra Kai doesn't win the tournament, and the scene then shifts to the final semi-final match in the boys division, with Robbie getting ready to fight Jin. Jin strikes first with punches that Robbie blocks and kicks him, pushing Jin back. Jin then tries countering with a hook kick, but Robbie, fueled with rage, blocks the kick by grabbing his leg and flips him over. Robbie then pounds on him and gets him into a chokehold. Jin tries breaking out, but he is weakened by Robbie's attacks and realizes Robbie has won the fight, so he taps out, making the finals for the boys division Robbie vs. Sean. Miyagi celebrates their advance to the finals for the boys division, and then the scene shifts to the girls division final semi-final match being Tori vs. Sharon. The fight starts and Tori and Sharon circle each other for a while, throwing kicks and jabs, testing each other out. Sharon then attacks Tori with the quick strikes, but Tori counters these kicks and kicks her back. Tori then goes on the offense with a combination of punches, but Sharon dodges these and hits Tori with a powerful hook kick that makes Tori lose her balance. Sharon then tackles her and gets her in a chokehold. Tori struggles for a bit but manages to throw Sharon off her and get up. Tori now goes on defense and Sharon goes on the offense and tries punching her, but Tori dodges this, grabs her arm and flips her over. Tori tries kicking her, but Sharon rolls away, gets back up, and then charges Tori with a leg scissor takedown that almost works, but Tori stops her mid-takedown and tackles her to the floor in a chokehold. Sharon tries getting out, but Tori is a lot bigger than her and overpowers her. Sharon, realizing that there is no way to escape, taps out, making Tori the winner, and she advances to the girls' final, being Tori vs. Laura. Terry Silver and the rest of Silver Karate leave the stage in frustration, and Terry gives Daniel a death stare before leaving. The commentator then gets onto the stage and says that Cobra Kai and Miyagi are now tied, and the winner will need to win both of the divisions if they want to win the Sekai Taikai. And just like the semi-finals being completely different, the finals will also be. The commentator says that it will still be a tap-out match, but this time both of the fighters will have weapons, and the winner will have to make sure the opponent can't continue fighting to win the match. Sean and Robbie step onto the stage with their weapons. Robbie chooses a bow staff while Sean chooses a sword that isn't sharp so it can't hurt Robbie. The match starts and Sean charges Robbie with his sword, but Robbie blocks his attack with his staff. Sean and Robbie then go back and forth blocking each other's attacks, and Robbie manages to sweep Sean's legs with his staff. Sean immediately gets back up and tries hitting Robbie with his sword, but Robbie dodges and transitions into a tornado kick that throws Sean onto the mat. Sean and Robbie then exchange a bunch of blows, and Sean launches with a powerful strike to Robbie's shoulders, but he deflects it with his staff. Sean doesn't let go and continues putting pressure on Robbie. Robbie then manages to get out, and Sean charges him again, but uses his momentum to yank Sean's sword out of his hands, and it clatters outside the ring. Sean is ready for this, though, and he grabs Robbie's staff and throws it away, making them both weaponless. Robbie and Sean then transition into hand-to-hand combat and attack each other with strikes, trying to wear each other out. Robbie goes for a high kick, but Sean ducks and punches Robbie in the ribs. Robbie takes the punch with a grunt and elbows Sean in the jaw. The fight then continues, and Sean tries hitting Robbie with powerful strikes while Robbie stays on defense. Sean then lands a punch on Robbie, but he quickly recovers and tackles him to the mat. Robbie then gets him in a chokehold, but Sean powers out and flips Robbie over his shoulder. Sean and Robbie both get up, and Sean goes for a punch that Robbie ducks and hits them with an uppercut to the chin. Robbie uses this to his advantage and tackles Sean to the mat and gets him in a chokehold again. Sean struggles trying to break free, but Robbie doesn't let him. Sean continues trying and almost breaks out, but Robbie tightens the chokehold. Sean then realizes that there's nothing he can do, and he taps out, making Robbie the Boys Division Sekai Taikai champion. Miyagi Fang celebrates their victory, and they all run up to celebrate with Robbie as he receives the Boys Division Sekai Taikai trophy. Robbie tells Tori now it's her turn to win the Sekai Taikai, and the scene transitions to the girls' division for the finals, Tori versus Laura. Tori chooses sais as her weapon, while Laura chooses nunchucks. The fight starts, and Tori lunges at Laura with her sais, but Laura creates a defensive barrier with her nunchucks. Tori then strikes, aiming to disarm Laura, but Laura keeps her defense up with the nunchucks and doesn't let Tori through. Laura then catches Tori's wrist with the chain of her nunchucks and pulls her off balance. Tori quickly recovers and spins into a low kick that forces Laura to back off. Tori continues to attack Laura, and they go back and forth trying to hit each other, but their defense is too good. Tori then launches a high kick at Laura, but she ducks and swings her nunchucks upwards, knocking one of Tori's sais out of her hands. Laura tries striking again, but Tori flips backwards to create some space. Quickly continues her attack and presses Tori with her nunchucks spinning in a blur, but Tori deflects with her remaining sai and twists her wrist in a way that makes Laura nunchucks fly out of her hands. Tori then charges Laura with her sai, but Laura dodges, catches Tori's wrist and flips her over, which makes Tori's remaining sai fall out of her hands, way out of reach. Tori and Laura then transition into hand-to-hand combat with a blur of strikes. Laura then manages to grab Tori by the shoulders, and she hits her with a bunch of knee strikes and then judo flips her over, pinning her to the mat in a chokehold. Tori doesn't give up though and manages to break out by overpowering Laura, and she sends her flying across the stage. Laura then gets up to be greeted by Tori, who goes straight on the offense with a combination of kicks that Laura dodges, but then gets pounded by Tori's punches. Laura staggers backwards and tries charging, but before she can, Tori hits her with a powerful roundhouse kick that sends Laura crashing to the mat. Laura tries to get up, but Tori pounces on her and gets her in a chokehold. Laura, about to pass out, instantly taps out, making Tori the winner of the girls' division and Miyagi Fang the Sekai Taikai winners. Miyagi Fang runs up to celebrate as Tori gets her trophy, and the senseis are giving the Sekai Taikai trophy for winning the entire thing. Robbie and Tori are given a big cash reward for winning, and Cobra Kai leaves in rage as Miyagi Fang celebrates in front of the crowd as the episode ends. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even though it was a lot longer than most of my videos. Let me know what you think should happen in the final episode, and if you haven't seen the rest of my series, go watch it right here.